recording this as well. Let's do a quick introduction. My name is Colton McCabe. I am the support manager at Real Time Solutions, and so I'll be conducting the training this afternoon, as well as be the individual who provides support, and answers questions along with Denise and Sylvia, and just to be a resource for you moving forward if you have any questions about the new system and how things work and operate. But just to give you kind of an overview of what we're going to go over today, we did move the chapters onto a new platform. It's a new system. It's much more modern, has a lot more capabilities. I think is definitely a lot more user friendly, and it also, is more capable. There is a little bit of a learning curve, but we're going to address all of the basics and fundamentals today. And I also have been working on something that for you all moving forward. This is the page on the Navajo main Navajo chapters site. It's going to be under the help and training aids. It's called website resources. And this is right now, this is a work in progress, but there is a lot of good stuff here. And basically, if we look at this table of contents right here, it's all of the major, plot points that we're going to go over today, and a good introduction to the new system and how it operates. So I'll be referring back to this just to highlight some different materials, but it has a lot of screenshots, definitions, descriptions, and all kind of stuff in here, so you don't have to worry about remembering everything today. In addition, I am recording this training, and in the next couple days I'll be able to get all of these recordings online and on this page as well, so you can always come back and re-watch this later. But just to get started, I'm just going to use a template site that we've been working off of to log in to your website. It's the same or similar to how you did before, where normally you would just put the /admin on the end of the domain name. In this case, you're just doing 505 login. You don't have to enable Adobe Flash anymore. That's gone. And you'll be taken to this WordPress login where you're going to enter in your given email, login, and credentials. And then you're just going to hit simply login. And then that is going to take you to the dashboard. So this is a little different than before in that when you logged in before on the old system, it took you right to the website where you saw kind of all the modules and the squares and everything pop up. You can get there, but the first landing place you're going to see when you log in is this dashboard. So I think it's beneficial to kind of go over the lay of the land here a little bit. We're going to come back later to touch on some of the areas here, but it is important just to know how to navigate this, even though the majority of the actual content editing and changes and all of the more day-to-day kind of functions that you're going to be doing with the website don't happen here. They happen on the web pages themselves, the public side. But just to give you a quick overview, all of this big kind of white space you can pretty much ignore. These are just kind of general like WordPress news and events. There's some different things here, but nothing that I particularly ever use or that you have to worry about. The only place that you really want to kind of know what they are is this side menu over here, this black bar. I'm just going to go through each of them and give you a quick spiel on what they are and how they're used. So of course we just have the dashboard. You'll see your chapter name up right here next to this little house icon, and then on the sites yours will just show your chapter name. Now as you come down here, we have posts. What posts are basically a post is a content page that can be brought in through a blog. So this is where you would organize, sort, and edit all of the different blog posts on your site. Even though I don't think all chapters are set up with a blog or use one, So some may use this, some may not, but just in general, posts are where you come and manage all your blog content. Events is just a kind of a calendar directory of all of the different events that you can create, manage, and edit. We have some different calendar modules that are available to you that you can install in Pages, and then wherever those calendar modules exist, they'll show the events kind of in this area right here. Below that, we do have another important area. This is the media library. This is the central repository for all of your documents, PDFs, audio files. Any piece of media that you add onto the site is going to be within the media library. And you can come here at any time and sort through it. You can either add new media by dragging and dropping files in here or selecting them through Windows. You are able to sort by type of image or type of media, the date it was uploaded, and you have a nice search function as well. And the other thing I'll note is anytime you upload a piece of media to WordPress, like this image for instance, you can always click on it and see the details associated with the image. Really the only important thing is this URL that it's associated with. So every time you upload a piece of media, WordPress gives it a unique URL, and we'll be using this later on to link to certain images, to link to documents on the website itself. So moving on, we have our pages. Pages is just a library of all the pages that exist on your website, including published pages and drafts. So this is something that's different than the old system, is that you can create a draft page that isn't visible to the public. It's kind of just in the works. As well as you can see all of the different pages. You can sort them by alphabetical order, by date updated or date published, and then you can select one and go to it. You've got some quick edit features and things that we'll come back to. And you can also add a new page here, which is a process we'll go through a little later on. Comments will be disabled, so you don't have to worry about this. It's not pertinent to your management of the website. Projects is something that you won't have to really worry about either. Projects are another type of content that is very similar to a blog and is utilized by a different module called the Filterable Portfolio. But it's a very niche specific content piece that I don't think any of the sites use, so you don't have to worry about that one. Moving down, we have our appearance, and the only one you have to know about in here is under appearance. There is menus, and menus is where you go to edit what it says, the menu. You can add different pages to the menu as either drop down sub items or main items. You can edit and change the menu titles or what show up on the menu. You can do anything, create new menus. You can do a lot of things, but this is where you manage and edit the menu of your website. Moving on, we have our profile. This is where you can come and just manage your profile if you have a personal profile. If not, well, I don't think this will be available to you. Tools. This is one that you don't have to really worry about. It should be disabled. This is higher level functions and are not relevant to your day-to-day activities. And then finally we have Divi, where you can come where here's the theme builder. And this is where you're going to be able to access and edit your header and your footer. So the way you manage these is the same process as we're going to see here in a little bit, but we'll come back to this a little later, and I'll give you some more context on that. So now that we have kind of a good overview of the dashboard, let's jump into the website itself. So anytime you want to go and access the website, you would just come up here from the dashboard under your chapter name, go ahead and click Visit Site. And when you do that, if you can give it a second to load, it's going to load the chapter web page. This is just a demo template that we're using, but you'll notice that when you load the page, and if it doesn't the first time, just click the home button and you'll see that this black banner appears. This shows me that you're on the website, but you're logged in as an administrator, and you're able to edit and engage the content. With this banner up here, you can navigate the website like normal, go to any page, click on anything. But once you are on the page where you want to make a change, where you need to add a link, you need to update some information, add a picture, whatever it may be, what you're going to want to do is enable the builder. And this is kind of the second part to the new system. We have the WordPress kind of foundation, and then we have this tool which is called the Divi Theme Builder. And this is the tool that allows you to actually engage and edit the content in a similar but different way that you used to. And to enable that tool, it's just right here, this purple button that you click. And it'll take a few seconds, and it's going to load the page again. But when it loads, you're going to see that now, as I'm hovering over all these different content pieces, there is all these different kind of boxes and things that are popping up around the different areas and pieces. What these are the different kind of content containers that the builder uses to create pages and manage content. And there are three main levels to it, or three main types that you need to know. The highest level and kind of the least engaged or one that's needed to change is the section. A section is very big. It's usually from width to width. It takes up a large space. And a section is just basically a big container that contains a lot of other content inside it, things like modules and rows. And it just defines an area on the screen where you build content. Kind of like if you're writing a story on a piece of paper, just think of the section as the piece of paper. It's just the kind of canvas that you're working within. Within the section, there are multiple rows. A row is essentially, it just defines kind of where you're adding content. It defines a spatial relationship between the different content modules or content pieces. You can have several different types of rows. Like this row is just a single column row, but you can see if you pop this open, there are many different orientations of rows, and each row has a certain number of columns. This is a single column, here's a 2 column, 3 column, 4 column, etc. Some columns with different sizes. And within each of these columns goes, for instance, like a text editor or an image or a module, all the different types of content that go in each. And you're just defining how big that of space it's going to take up within the section by what row you use. And the best analogy that I do for this is it's essentially like if you're working on a piece of paper, the paper's the section, and you're inserting a table, and tables can have multiple cells, and within each cell you'll put like a piece of content, text or a number. It's essentially the same, except the paper is the section, the rows are the tables, and then the content are the modules themselves. And that leads us to the main kind of piece of content that you're going to be engaging with to make changes, to add pieces, and those are the modules. And you'll see here that those are denoted by these gray boxes, As you hover over, you can see there's many different types of modules. We see some images. We see here, this is called an accordion. We have text. Looks like there's some buttons and things around here. The modules are very versatile. There's many more. The old system had probably, I think, like 12, maybe 10 to 12. This one has more like, around 24 to 26 different content modules, but a lot of the basics and the essentials are all the same. So as we go over here, I do want to just reference back to this resource page and just give you an idea kind of there's a lot of recap of what we just went over in here. Logging into the dashboard gives you a screenshot. Here are some definitions for all of those different areas on the dashboard that we went over. Here's also the Divi Builder setup, how to get to the website, engaging the Divi Builder, the difference between sections, rows, columns, and modules. And then down here, I've got some other great materials, some web tutorials, and some great videos from people who are much more eloquent than I am and very knowledgeable. And if you ever want to, of course, you can always rewatch this training, but if you want to get another perspective with additional different information, you can watch these two tutorials, and this one over here is really specific to what's a row, what's a section, what's a module. And then I really, of all of them, I highly recommend this Getting Started with Divi Builder tutorial. This is from a website called Elegant Themes. It's got a video itself, and it's also got all these different, it defines section, rows, modules, a lot of the same stuff we went over, but it's got a lot of great visuals to go along with it. So I highly recommend taking advantage of some of these materials that we've posted online here. All right, coming back, what I want to get into now is actually engaging with some of the different content on the page and seeing how we make edits, how we save changes, create new content, etc. And one thing that you'll see as you're hovering over all of these different boxes is these little menus that pop up, and all of them are pretty much the same for whether it's a section, the row, or the module. And you're going to see a lot of these icons appear in other places, in the settings menus, in other places throughout the tool. And so it's good to know kind of what their functions are, so you can kind of infer when you see them later what that means. So just real quick, going over them, you'll see that there are these 4 directional arrows that are on all of them. This is saying this is the function to allow you to move that module, that row, that piece of content wherever you need. So here we've got a text module right here, and say I wanted this text module to instead be below this image. I could easily just grab it and move it down and drop it underneath. And if I wanted to move, this information up here, I could simply just drag it and drop it. And even if I wanted to take this entire section and move it up above this content, I could do that. So it's really versatile in terms of being able to move content around. And another quick trick, say I did that, but then I decided I wanted to undo it, I can just hit Control Z and it will undo it and bring it back here. And it actually looks like it took that back down too. So the Windows short keys like Control V, Control C, all of that works too, and makes it a lot easier, and you'll see as we get into that a little bit more as well. So that's that directional icon, is allowing you to move whatever item you're kind of hovering over. The next one is going to be this little gear icon, and this one is probably the most common. All that means is settings. If you want to engage with the settings of whatever content piece you're looking at, just click that. It's going to pull up a menu for you for whatever it is, and you're going to be able to make changes and edit it from there. We're going to come back to that one and go through that in more detail. The other one, and you'll notice, is these 2 boxes right here. This is the duplicate function. And you can duplicate pretty much anything, make an exact copy of content. Like say I wanted to make another kind of lineup like this, where it's got this contact information, it's got an image, a little explanatory text, and a little divider. Instead of going through adding a new row, adding each module one by one, I can even just simply hit that duplicate function, and it creates a copy right down here. And then I can go in and make the edits as I need. But it allows you to, instead of building everything from scratch, you can just duplicate something that's close and then change it to make it correct. The other function is this little arrow with the circle. This is save to library. You do have a Divi library that you can draw from. So when you're adding new modules, which we'll get into, or adding a new row, you're always going to have this second option, which is add from library. And the library is where you can pull preset different types of content that you've saved there specifically. So say I like this setup, like I like this organizational structure of this image and the text and things. I could save this to the library. I could save it to the library, just give it a name like I'm just going to do RTS training row. I'm going to hit save to library. And now if I'm ever adding a row, I could just start a row off and build it from scratch. Or if I know, oh hey, I have it in my library, there's the RTS training row, I'm just going to select that and it inserts it right away. So this is a cool way of building up your library resources so that in the future you don't have to work as hard to build out the content. If you have something that you kind of already like and you just need to swap out the content, the text and things, you can save it to your library and use it later. The next one's easy. It's just a trash bin. If you ever need to delete anything, you can just delete it. If you delete it and want to undo it, just hit Control Z and you can bring it back. And finally, there's these three dots right here. And these are some other secondary options that are I don't want to overcomplicate things right now. We can look at these a little later, but basically allows you to copy and paste modules if you need to. If you want to copy a module here, paste it on another page, and some other cool stuff. But those are the main kind of icons that you're going to see throughout the builder, and knowing what they mean is really helpful. The row has another extra one that's not on any others, and that's the column structure. Basically just saying, do you want to switch it from, this is a 1 row, if I wanted to switch it to a 2 row, and I could then, even if I came in here, I could, copy this, move it over here, maybe duplicate this, move it over here, and start creating content like that. So just to show you kind of how you're able to modify the content compared to the old way of doing things, where kind of all the rows were already defined, they were preset and non-editable. You can do a lot more with the tools here. So here now we're going to just start taking a look at some of the fundamental different modules that exist, how to engage and make edits with them, and then take a look at some higher level modules and see how they relate. So say, let's take this example right here and say we wanted to do something a little different, like, well, I got my contact information, I want to add a little bit of a description here, I need to add my email, my phone number, and I want to make them clickable. So how would we do that? What we're going to do is just hover over and we're going to go into the module settings. That's going to pop up this menu on the side, and you can see we're in the text settings, so this is a text module. And I'm going to close this real quick and just point out that no matter whether you're in the settings for any type of module, any type of row or section, you're always going to see these three main tabs: content, design, and advanced. And the majority of the time, you're only going to ever have to worry about the content, because that's where the main substance of the piece is. Design is really just aesthetic, and advance you'll pretty much never have to worry about. But each text under content, depending on the module, they have a few different subsequent links underneath. You're going to see a lot of even these are the same. A lot of modules will still have a text area, a link area if you want to make that clickable or point it somewhere, a background for adding an image into the background, or adding a color background. Things like that are all controlled right here under content. But the main one for a text editor is the text. And if you open that up, you'll see here we have the text editor showing the text that's in the module, and we have our tools here. So say I wanted to make some changes. I wanted to add some descriptions down here. I wanted to add a map link, a phone number, my email, but I want to make all these clickable too. Well, first I want to add some description, so I can just type that out. Maybe I have some description. I got a little Latin over here, just this filler text. I could even copy and paste that right in there. And you'll see that it gives you, in real time, you're able to see the changes in how it looks on the page. I'm going to delete that. I'm just going to put something like, oops, overview. But I want the overview to be a little bigger than the other text, so I can change the heading. And this is the same as before. Headings are, if you're used to them, are just presets. You have headings like 1 through 6. The smaller the number, the bigger, the bolder the text. And we use headings to create consistency across the site, so that you're only ever using fonts and sizes and weights from a specific preset of options. So you never, where one page looks pretty radically different from another because it's using a different font, different color. So these headings help to keep consistency and synergy across the site. So I know this one's just on paragraph, which is the normal, but maybe I want to set it like as a heading 3 and see how that looks. That looks pretty good. Maybe heading 1. Heading 1's probably way too big. Maybe that would go up top. Maybe even a heading 4 might be good. So you kind of find what you like. These ones over here, I don't want them to just be paragraph. Maybe I'm going to make them like a heading 6. That's kind of light. Maybe I'll just do a heading 5 on those. So now I'm looking at this. I might even add like a little space there. Okay, we're looking good over here. We got our overview with some description. I got my headings set up. Now I want to add my email here. And so I have email, and I want to make it a clickable email link. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete this, and I'm going to insert what's called a hyperlink. And that is it's the same function from the old content management system with a similar icon even. So this little chain link or link icon, if you click on that, it's going to allow you to add a hyperlink. Now, a hyperlink can be anything. It can be an email. It can be a phone number. It can be a URL to a different website. It can be another page on your site. It can be really anything you want. There are two short codes to know. If it was just if I just wanted to link to, say, this tutorial, I could just grab the URL out of the top, throw it in where it says URL, and then in text to display I might put click here. For target, instead of having it take the user away from this window, have it open a new window, hit OK, and it creates the link. But on this one, I don't want to link to a page, I want to link to my email. So there's a short code that we do where you just put mail to : and then put your email. I'm going to colton@rtsolutions.com. And instead of click here, I'm just going to put Colton's email. Hit OK, And now we have a clickable link to my email. So if on mobile somebody clicked on that, they could open it right up in their email. Same on desktop. For the phone number, if we wanted it to be a clickable phone number for mobile, where somebody just has to click on the phone number and it pulls it up and they can call, we can do the same thing. We can either insert it or highlight it and click on the link button. And there's a short code for that too, which is just TEL : and then you just type your number with no hyphens, 8300414, and then that adds your number as a clickable link. Now we're taking the map. Say we want to add a map location so they could open up maps in their on their phone or on their computer. You can go to something like Google Maps. I'm going to search our old or our current office, Road Northwest. Okay, I've got that, and Google actually has a cool share option where if you click share, they give you a link that you can paste in as a hyperlink really easily. And then I'll put like view location, highlight that as a hyperlink, paste it in from Google, set it to open a new window, and now we have a clickable link for these. I actually even want these to be, maybe actually I'm thinking I don't like them heading 5. I just want them to be paragraph, so that way they're blue and you can see them. Okay, so now I'm looking at this and I'm liking what I see. I've got my clickable links. Okay, I've got my overview. There's nothing else I want to do here, so I'm going to go ahead and just click this green checkbox to save it in the module. Now, even though I just hit the green checkbox and I saved the changes to this module here, they're not actually live to the public yet. So if you came to this website and you weren't logged in as an administrator, you wouldn't see these changes yet because they haven't been pushed live. Anytime you want to push a change live, you're actually going to come down here, and if you notice there's another little purple icon right here. If you click on that, that opens up the page menu. The page menu is important for a couple reasons. You've got some other options here. You can even save, notice here's that same save template or save to library icon. You can save an entire page to your library. You can delete the page. You have page settings, revisions, etc., things like that. Now, the other one, the main one, is if we come here, there's the main save. So you can make changes to multiple modules, but until you hit this final save button right here, nothing gets pushed live to the site until after that. Now, one of the other cool things about the page menu is over here you have some different views and tools at your disposal. So say you're working in desktop, but this page is going to be viewed a lot in mobile and tablet, and I kind of want to see how the page looks in those views and in those forums. So you can come over here and you can actually click the tablet icon and it's going to render it like a tablet, or you can click it in mobile and it's going to show you what it looks like in mobile. And the cool thing is that it kind of automatically stacks and organizes everything in a reasonable, cool way without having to do too much editing or have to have two versions of the page. And it's pretty good about that, but it's always good to check, because sometimes something can look okay on desktop, but then it doesn't look good on mobile. But having the ability to go through those and really see the difference is really useful. We also have this little magnifying glass, and if you click on that, it actually zooms out and you can get a little bit bigger picture of the page, the content, how everything is laid out. If we go back down to desktop, the other thing is you saw that as you hover around, all of the different little menus pop up. Some people don't like that. They think it's kind of, gets in the way. It's a little too much information. So if you want to switch it over to this click mode instead of hover mode, now as you hover over, the menus don't pop up, and only if you click on them do the menus actually show up. So there's that option, and then there's this grid option, where if you click on it, it just opens up everything right away, so you can kind of just have access to everything really easily. I usually stick to hover mode, but that's more just a personal preference to me. Okay, so we just made changes to this text editor. They're not live yet. We still need to hit this save button, but we've still got a little bit more to do. So let's take a look at here. We've got what it looks like here is a call to action. But you know what? We might come back to here. It is a call to action, but I don't need a call to action with the text. All I want is just a regular old image. We'll come back to a call to action later, so I'm actually going to just delete this one because it's not exactly what I was looking for. I didn't want any text over the image. I just wanted the image itself. So we deleted that one. Now I'm going to add a new module. So I'm going to click on this, and you'll see now we have our menu library that pops up, or our module library. And I'm going to just search for image, and it'll pop up right away. So I'm going to select that, and it's going to insert an image module just with this blank kind of holder. And you'll see here now, comparing the text editor settings with the image settings, you'll see they're almost identically the same. You have content, design, and advanced, and then you have image. You still have link, background, and label. And the only difference actually is where text was on the text module, you have image here. And if you hover over it, you'll see the same familiar icons, trash. You also see that gear icon, which means settings. So I know if I click on that, it's probably going to give me the option to add some photos, which it does. So when I click on that, it's going to pull up the media library. This is what we looked at earlier at the dashboard. And what's cool about opening this up through the image module is that it actually filters out all the PDFs and audio files. It only shows you the images themselves. Now, say we can look in here and we can see, find a good image. Maybe there's one I want that's already uploaded, like this one right here. All I'd have to do is grab it, select it, and then hit upload that image. So if I preferred that one, I would just select that, hit upload that image, and it adds it right in, and then you can see it in here as well. Now what if the image wasn't in the media library? I come up here and I have an image on my computer, but I don't have it on the media library itself. Well, it's really easy to upload. You can just come over here to upload files, and you can either drag and drop something in there. So if I pull up my picture folder, I might even just pull over what's a good image. So here's an image. I'm just going to drag and drop it, and it uploads it right in. Or if I upload files, I can go select files, and it'll pop up my pictures right away, and you can just select one in here and upload it. But let's say, so I just uploaded this image of this brick wall. Then it's in the media library that quick, and then I just select it and add it and upload it. Really easy, really quick. So you can kind of even try out what images work, see what do I like, what don't I like, and maybe I settled on this image. That one looks really good. It's nice and big, takes up the whole space. But what if now I'm saying, oh, you know what? I wanted an image, but I also wanted on the side to list maybe some links, or I wanted to add some documentation, some links to some other stuff, some external resources. So now I'm saying, okay, well, I've got this image here, I've got this one over here, but what I need is a row that is a 2 by 2, so I could set them side by side. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to come down here and I'm going to create a new row. And I'm going to make that row a 2 by 2. So now I have these two spaces, and since I wanted the image in one and I wanted the resources in another, I'm just going to grab that module and I'm going to drop it in this 2 by 2. Oh, okay, so there it is, and now I got this other content over here. But I noticed too, I wanted it between this content and this content. So I'm going to have to move this content down to another single row. And I can just exit out of that. I'm just going to drag and drop these in here. Drag and drop this one in here. And hey, now we're in business. So now I've got this one, which is full, just a one row column with this one text module. Then here's a row, which is just a two column row. And then here's another one column below it. So now I've got, my overview, contact information, we got my image. And now I want to add, some links to some other resources. Well, a good way to add links, or anytime you want to add just like a clickable piece that users can click on to open up a PDF, to be directed to a video, or anything like that, you can use the button module. Button module is really straightforward. We'll add one of those. It's going to be already kind of pre-styled for you. It's got a nice cool little animation on it. And if you open it up just to drive the point home, again, in the button settings, you have the same three main tabs: content, design, and advanced. And you'll see here now we don't have background because the button is just its own little thing, but we still have the link, and then where image and text used to be, we just have what the button or the image, the text that goes inside the button. So maybe this would be, view recent December 2020 report. Okay, so now we've got our title for the button, but we need it to link to an actual document. So how are we going to add the document so that when people click on that button, that document opens up? Well, for that, we're actually going to have to go back to the dashboard, to the media library. And the way I do this is I always, if you come over here, even you don't have to exit out of the visual builder or anything. If you hover over your chapter, you're going to see dashboard. And I always click on it with the middle mouse so that it opens up in a new tab. I like to have a tab open where I have this the page in the Divi Builder engaged, and then I have another page open with the dashboard, and I'm going to go to the media library. And you'll see here in the media library we have all the same images that we were looking at when we were going through the image module, but we also now have some different PDF documents here. And uploading PDFs or Word documents is exactly the same like how we uploaded the images. You can click Add New, you can drag and drop files into this square, or you can select files and upload them straight to your library. Now, we've already got kind of a test document right here. So here's this test training document that I did, and say this is the report that we want to link to. We just uploaded the PDF or the PDF to the media library. Now we click on it, and this is what we went over earlier too, the attachment details. And remember that URL that is created every time we upload a piece of media. What we're going to do is grab that real quick. Grab it, copy it, then I'm going to come over here back to my page where I'm editing and go to my button. And now you'll notice that even the text editor, the image, pretty much everything is going to have this option under content called link. And that's because anything can be a button. Really, anything can be a clickable area that you can point to a website or a document. In this case, the button is it's a very essential part of the function of a button. So we're just going to paste in that document URL. And what's cool about WordPress is WordPress already knows that we're at navajochapters.com or whatever, if we're at alamo.navajochapters.com. So you can actually remove the domain up to the .com and just keep everything after it. So all like the / and that's just a best practice in kind of the web industry. And then you're going to have the button link target. And all this is saying is, do you want them to open that link in a new window, in a new tab like we did with the dashboard, or to have them open it in the same tab? The rule of thumb is always that opening new tabs or opening documents or external sites should be opened in a new tab, and if you're pointing someone to a page within your own site, you can do it in the same window. So since this is a document, we're going to open it in a new tab. So we got our link in there, we have it set to open in a new tab, and we have our title for our button in place. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that checkbox, and I'm looking at it now. I'm like, great, okay. We got the link to the report, we got our image to make it look nice, some of the explanation overview. But I also want to add some other resources. There are a couple, websites that I want to link to as well. Well, I could go through, I could add a button, or, if it's even quicker, instead of just adding a whole new button, I could just duplicate this one, and then I can go into the settings, and I'll edit it. And maybe, this time, here's this tutorial that I recommended that's really good. Maybe I want to link to that. All I do is grab the URL out of the browser, come over here. I'm going to change this to Divi Builder Tutorial, and then I'm going to swap out the link and just hit the checkbox. And now I got another button that's pointing to something different and going somewhere else. And do you mind giving me 1 second? I think somebody just rang my doorbell. I think it's just a package. If you give me just a 2-minute break real quick, I apologize. I'm back. Sorry about that. Thank you for indulging me there. Excuse me. All right. So we have so we have our button here. We have our link to our document, our external site, and we have our image. We're feeling pretty good about this. I got some other text down here. This is another module piece that is known as a divider, and all it is just a kind of little stylistic piece that adds a little line, to just create some space and definition between different areas on the page. But what I want to highlight really quick is what we just looked at in terms of kind of the main components of these three modules are really what make up probably 85 to 90% of the rest of the modules. A ton of the other modules are just some iteration or combination of a text editor, an image, or sometimes a video, and a button. So for example, there is a module that's pretty common. It's called a blurb. And all a blurb is really, it's kind of like a text editor, an image, and a button combined. So I'm going to show you that real quick. I just want to, add a blurb. Let's say I want to add a blurb right below this button right here. I'm just going to hit the plus icon, look for blurb, select that, and you'll see here it opens up the settings. We have that same blank space holder image. We got some text underneath it, and if you look over here in the settings, we have a title similar to how we entered in the information on the button. We have the text editor, which is exactly like how we entered in the content over here, and then we have an image and icon area, which is exactly the same as this image. So if I wanted to add an image, maybe I'm adding the seal right here, I could just select that, upload the image. The function is exactly the same as I did over here. Then if I wanted to, in the text, the title, I could put Navajo Nation chapters, and then in here, maybe there I wrote something up. I can just grab, I'm just going to grab a little Latin just for demo purposes. I'm going to paste it in there, and then I'm like, okay, there's my blurb. It's all set up, and I'm actually going to move it out here because it's still too big for right there. I'm going to move it down right here. So okay, and I'm pretty happy with that. But what you realize is, even though a blurb is kind of a completely a unique module, the component parts of it and how you engage with it are exactly the same as basically these three. If you know how to do a text editor or a text module, an image module, and a button, you can figure out almost all of the others. They're very, very similar. Again, the other one that we were looking at was a call to action. So say, I've got this text editor here. I'm actually going to get rid of that. I want a call to action. I want an image with a background image with some text overlaid on it, and a button on the image itself. Well, there's a perfect module for that. It's called a call to action module. I'll select that. And it's going to pop up here. So it's got a blue background. It's got a title and a text editor. And again, I know all of these. Title, we worked with that with a button. I'm going to put, come to our next, or come to our town hall, December 18th. And on button, on this one, the button shows up when you add some text into it. I'm going to view schedule, and I think, let's see, not sure why the button's not showing up. Give me 1 second. We'll figure out the button here in a second. It might just be a little glitch. But down here in the background, we can, instead of having just a blue background, we got some other options here. We can add a gradient, so it could be, a couple different colors, whatever we need. Or we can come over here to image, and this is where we're able to add an image just like if it were an actual image module. You know, I'm gonna click there, you know, and I think I want to use this one as the background. So we have that. Come to our town hall December 18th. Maybe I say, you know, I actually don't like that one so much. I'm gonna use this one. Okay, that's looking good. Come to our town hall December 18th. Link. There's the view schedule. Oh, I think we have to add something in the link itself. So say, you know, there's you have a Zoom meeting. This is going to be virtual. We can go to Zoom and say, you know, you log in. You grab the meeting info. You just grab. I'm just going to grab this for now. But we come over there for the button link URL. I'm going to paste it in there. And once I paste a link into the button area, it pops up. And so now, here is go like view Zoom virtual town hall. So there's that. Now I'm looking at these and really, even though this was a unique, different type of module, again, it's all the same things. We're using that text editor. We're just adding these titles in as we need. We're adding the link just like a button. Even though it's a background, we're using the image and it functions exactly the same. So you can see how once you know these three, if you know a text editor, you know an image or video, and then the button, you can do a lot of other stuff intuitively because they're just basically, you know, combinations of different types of or different organizations of these three main types of modules. I'm gonna go over a couple more modules as well, but I did want to just take a quick break and see if anyone had any questions. Did you have any, you know, comments, or was there anything that you wanted to look at in particular that we didn't go over yet that you wanted to check out? I'll take the silence as a good sign. It seems like we're on the right track and everybody's following along, which is good. So I'll just I'll keep plugging away. I want to take a look at a couple more modules. I'm going to zoom up to the top here and take a look at these. And these are ones that we looked at earlier. Here, this is what's known as a slider module. And a slider is really what you can think about it as basically a bunch of call to actions that just slide one by one. So because you can see the slider is essentially the same thing. It's a background image. It's got a title, some text, and a button, just like the call to action, background, title, text, button. But the slider, you can slide from one to the other. And if we open up the slider module and say, even though let's just build one from scratch too to make it easier. So I'm going to add the slider module in. And so I got just kind of a blank canvas. Here's our slider module. I'm going to come in here, go into settings, and now this looks a little different. But we still got content, design, and advanced. We have you know, these here. Your title goes here. Your title goes here. What these are the individual slides, and you can think about each of these individual things as its own call to action module, or kind of its own text module almost. And you can add multiple of them. Say we just, you know, added a third one, and we just need to edit them. Down here we have like elements. This is show arrows. If we wanted those to show, we can turn them off, or the controls, or these little buttons down here, we can turn those off as well. I like to have them all on. I think it makes it easier for people to find. The link again. This is actually if you wanted the entire module to be a link. Literally everything can be a button. And then here we have our background. Now this is the background for the full slider, not each individual slide. What we want to do is go into each individual slide. So if I click on the gear or settings icon for the first slide, it's going to pull it up here. I'm going to put in just, you know, the title, real-time solutions. Button, I'm going to put, view our schedule, or leave us some feedback, something like that. Your content, I'm just going to grab, just a little bit of Latin. This could be, some explanatory text. We've been around since 2000 or what have you. So, okay, so now we've got our title. Again, we've got our text. We've got the button figured out. Now I can add an image in here. And there's actually a couple options here, but you'll see how you already have the tools to do either or, because it's essentially the same function. We have image and video, or we have background. Now what's the difference between the two? So the background, of course, is just going to be that entire square, and if I wanted to add a background image, I would go to background. I would select the image tab right over here. I would add it from the media library like we already know how to do. Let's say I want to add this one this time. Okay, we just added the background image. But how is that different from this image and video up here? Well, I'll show you. So if we remove this image, and we just made this, let's say we just made it kind of this gray background. We could come up here and we could add an image, and we'll add that same image, but you'll see when we upload that one, it puts it to the side this time. So you can see now when you're building your slides, there's kind of two ways you can do it. You could add the image as a side piece, or you can add the image as the full background of the slide itself. And we can do a combination. Let's say, on this one, I really like the image as this as the side piece. I like the way this looks with the gray background. Okay, so this slide's good. I'm going to hit the check mark. So you can see here we have our first slide, real-time solutions. Now let's add our second slide. And on this one, I'm going to add this. This was a restaurant that I used to work at years ago. It's called Matucci's Italian. And we'll say, view our December menu. And maybe, I don't even want any text on this. I just want it to say that Matucci's Italian, view our December menu. And on this one, we want a background image. I don't want it to be on the side. I want it to be the background of the entire slide. So I'm going to go to background, add background image, and I'm going to add, it's not particularly fitting, but we'll just add these flowers. So there's the background image. I got the title. I got my link. I just need to go into the link, and I need to, Tucci's Italian. I'm going to grab just go to their website. I'm going to add it in the button link URL and hit the checkbox. So now we got real-time solutions, Matucci's Italian. And I think I need to still add this. So we had the button, the URL in for that one. Now we've got Matucci's Italian. Now let's get our third slide. For this one, title, I'm going to put, what was another job that I'm going to do my alma mater, University of New Mexico. I'm going to say view programs, and then, we'll pay the 2020 semester is almost over. Choose your path for next year, something like that. On this one, I want an image on this side, or maybe on this one I have a video that I want to demo. So let's add a video. How do we go about doing that? Well, for a video, you can do it. It's the exact same way as an image. You can upload it from the media library. We don't have any videos in the media library currently, so they're not showing up. We can upload the one, but with videos, We like to really be cautious about uploading videos to the website. The reason being is if they're too big, if they're too long, longer than really like 30 seconds, the file is so big that it's going to slow down the page. And if someone that doesn't have a lot of bandwidth, or their internet isn't too fast, they might not be able to load the page, or it might break when they're surfing. So we always recommend that you use the insert from URL option. So say this, on this one we wanted to insert a video. I'm gonna let me pull up a YouTube video, Vimeo video. I'm gonna just insert University of New Mexico. So here's a University of New Mexico campus tour. I'm gonna just grab that URL from YouTube. I'm just gonna paste it in right there. I'm gonna then hit insert into post. Let it load. It looks like it put it right up there. It's doing it a little weird. This is where you might need to have us help you a little bit. Let's see. There we go. So this is something where you might have to come into the design and make a little change, but we can always help you with this. But even really, this is kind of a high-level function, adding a video into a slider module. But you can see, inserting it is pretty simple. I'm going to go back to the background. We're going to add that same gray that we were using. Yeah. Hit the checkbox. So now we got our 3 slides. I just got to add unm.edu. I'm going to add that into the link area. Hit the checkbox. And now you can see that we have these 3 slides. They function. They've got all the animations already set within them. I don't know if the gray is too pretty, but you can find a nice color that works for you. But again, what I want to point out and drive home that is that even with this slider module, which is kind of a much more complex piece to be able to change and create, it was still, all it was using was those same component parts, basically just the button function, text, and image video. And it's all just the way it's presented is different, but it all looks the same when you're kind of in the settings. I really focus on and would encourage you all to really master these 3 modules in particular, know how to do them inside and out, and it will make it a lot easier for doing and interacting with other modules. You'll have a good base. Again, right down here, this is what we call an accordion module, which is simply just several text editors stacked on top of each other. You'll notice it looks very similar to the slider settings, but in this case these aren't slides, these are the little drop down accordions. And we can go in here, and if you open each one up, you'll see it's just a text editor. I could put real-time solutions up here, maybe paste a little Latin in, hit the checkbox. In here again, I'm going to put 2 cheese Italian. I might put call us at 505-891-5465. Here's option 3, University of New Mexico, and etc. etc. Again, it's just a title with a text editor, and these allow you to collapse certain content so you just have 3 text editors, and you can have as many as you want stacked on top of each other, and you can just collapse the ones that you're not using and open up the one that you want to read. And that's a cool module for if you have a lot of text, and you don't want to take up too much space on a page. You can break it up and add it into an accordion, so it saves a lot of space on the page. but the function of adding and updating it is pretty much is the same. Once you learn these basics, you're able to really navigate the rest of the builder. So what I want to do, we'll do a final save. We just made all these changes on the web page, so we just hit the save. Now I'm going to exit the visual builder. Now what I want to show you, and you can see, here's everything works, looks good. We have our buttons open up, the buttons view programs, leave us some feedback, things like that. So all of that, it looks like it's working pretty good. But now what I want to do is so we've basically, just to recap, gone over the fundamentals of the Divi Builder. And the Divi Builder is the tool that you engage on the page that you want to change. You engage it, it opens up, and you have your 3 main levels, with the boxes that show up around the content. You have your sections. Within sections, you have your rows. Rows can be multiple configurations, 2 columns, 3 columns, 4 columns. And within your rows, you have your different modules. And the modules can be text, all kinds of things. The gear icon takes you to the settings. The way everything is organized is exactly the same, and there are the 3 main modules: a button, text editor, and image. And if you know how to do those, you can do the rest. But how would we go about and create a brand new page from scratch, and then we want to add that page to the menu? Well, what we can do is, you'll see here's the little plus icon right here after we're exited out of the Visual Builder. Here's a little plus icon, and we can hit click new page. Or what I do is I always go back to the dashboard, actually. So I come over here, hit dashboard, and remember, we can come here to the pages library on the dashboard, and you have the same options. Here's add new there, add new here, and anywhere, whether you do it from the front end top menu, it all takes you to the same. You click add new page, and that's going to take you here. Don't mind or worry about any of this stuff on the right. All you need to do in here is add a title, and I'm going to put this as Thursday afternoon training as our page. And all you have to do on this page right here is give the new page a title. Then you're going to want to hit use Divi Builder. Again, that's the tool that we have installed. The default editor is much more technical and hard to work with. So I'm going to hit use Divi Builder. It's going to take a second to load. And if it doesn't, well, we can, oh, there we go. So it's going to load kind of a blank, just a blank canvas, and it's going to pop up with this menu. So here you have pre-made layouts. You don't need to worry about these. These are just like kind of free layouts that WordPress offers, but they're not in line with your theme or your kind of brand. So what you're going to want to do is come over here to the saved layouts, and under saved layouts you have your content page and the home page. And one thing to note is you can also clone a page. So if you come over here to your existing pages, you'll also see it's a different representation, but essentially the same thing as the pages library. It's just a library of all the pages, and if you wanted to clone one of these pages, module for module, section for section, you would just click on this and it would create an exact duplicate. And the reason that is effective and is useful is sometimes you want to make a backup of a page to save it as a draft, so as you're making changes, or you want to create a rough draft, kind of a work in progress of a page and you don't want to have an in-between stage page live for the public to see. You want to shop it around to your boss, your colleagues, get some input. You can always clone a page, start working on it, save it as a draft so no one can see it except unless they're logged in. And then once it's ready, you just swap the old page out for the new one. But for this, in this instance, and actually let's do that. That's a good example. Let's say I'll show you what it looks like when you create a layout. So if I just selected content page layout, and it's been doing, sometimes it does this little glitch where when you select the page layout, it builds it, but it just shows this little icon spin. The way to fix that is you just come down here, hit save as draft, let that finish, and then just exit the visual builder, and it opens it up, and then just re-enable the visual builder, and you'll see now we have the page template. And basically all it does is it inserts a section with some rows and some modules, and it's got all just blank Latin, and then you can just delete what you need, what you don't need. You can start adding things to it, start adding an image module, etc., etc. But well, if I wanted to clone a page, I'm actually going to come back down here to the menu, the page menu, that purple circle that we were looking at earlier. I'm going to come over to this plus icon, and this is load from library. This allows me to replace the page that I'm on with a different page. And what I want to do, and you can see here it says replace existing content. I want to clone let's see, I'm going to clone the census page. So I'm going to hit census page, let it do its thing. Oops. Oh, I think I already cloned the census page. Let's just do this Navajo Nations links. Let's do this one. Doing this, okay. So you can see it doesn't look like that page had or post had a lot of content on it, but you did see that it did change the page, and it looked like this one just had a little link that's going out to so we can check it out. Looks like it's linking out to the nsn.gov website. This is a blurb. You can see that they're using this blurb a little differently. They're using the icon and just the title with no text or anything, and they're using it as a button, so they've added a link into the module. So this is a good example of how a blurb can actually be used similar to a button. It's just styled a little differently. But say we clone that page, maybe there is more content on it, but now we're just going to add some, working away. Pretend this is like over a period of a couple weeks. We go to the media library, we insert some images. I'm gonna duplicate this, change this around to my other job, Array Technologies, that I used to work at. We can come here. I'm gonna do this as PDF document. Maybe we added another row. Could be a call to action, etc., etc. So we're adding some content in here. We're updating the page, and it's ready to go. And now we're ready to add it to the menu. So what we're going to do is come down here, and you can see that we've saved this as a draft already. We can save it as a draft again. But what we're used to seeing from other pages, it didn't have publish and save draft down here. It just had save. The reason is when you first create a page, and you save it for the first time, you have to choose whether to save it as just a draft or to publish it as a live page. So saving it as a draft makes it impossible for anyone to see the page without being logged in. So if they tried to come to this URL and they weren't logged in to your chapter website, they wouldn't be able to see this content. Now, if you publish the page, which we're going to do, what that does is it changes the URL and it just builds the URL off the title that you gave the page. And now the URL is public and anyone could access it if they had it. However, it doesn't put it on the menu. Just because you published the page does not mean that it got added to the menu up here. There's still another step in order to do that. So say, we just cloned a page, we updated it, now we want to post it onto the menu. So it's published, we're ready to go. We just want to go back to the dashboard. And now I'm going to come down here over to Appearance and Menus. And now, and we went over this a little bit earlier, but you can see here is a representation of the current menu on the site. So if we go back and look at this site, you can see that we have Home, NNECD, Training, Calendar, and here we have Home, NNDCD, Training, Calendar, and their sub-items. So what we want to do is, say your boss told you, or you wanted to have it, I want to add that training page that we created right between Home and the NNDCD. So I'm going to come over here, and I can see here's Home, here's NNDCD. I'm going to look over here into my Pages menu. This is just a little menu where you can view the most recent pages that were updated. You can also do view all of the pages and scroll down. You can do a search and search for a specific page. But really all you do is you come over here, you find the pages that you want. Here's our page, Thursday afternoon training. And maybe, I also want to add, this census data page, or if there was another one, I could select multiple ones at a time. I'm going to then select the page I want with the check marks and just hit Add to Menu, and you'll see it'll add it right over here. And then I just, like I do with the modules, just drag and drop it where I need it to be. So I moved it in between NNDCD and Home, and you'll notice that you can have them kind of indented underneath other ones, and what that is doing is saying if it's flush kind of up against this line right here, that means it's going to be on the main parent menu. It's going to be one of these main items. If it's indented underneath another menu item, that means it's going to be a drop-down sub-menu of that item. So you see here, December training is under training, and if we come over here, training, there's December training. So what I'm going to do is I am, and you can see what menu you're looking at over here. We're on the primary navigation. You guys should only have one menu to worry about. I added the Thursday afternoon training. I'm going to hit Save Menu. Then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to reload this. And now you can see here's Thursday afternoon training right there in the menu. If we click on it, it takes us to that page we built. But say, hey, you know what, Thursday afternoon training, that's a little too long on the menu. I like that having this as the title, but I wanted to change that to just, maybe we abbreviate Thursday and just put TR training. Well, we can go back to the menu, and I'm going to just drop this menu item down. And here it shows the navigation label, and I'm just going to put, Thursday training instead of the Thursday evening training, just to shorten it up a bit. I'm going to hit Save Menu. Now I'm going to reload this, and you can see now it just shortened to Thursday training, but it still shows the title Thursday afternoon training here. You're only changing the label on the menu itself. So that is the basics of menuing structures. You really just, you drag and drop, move around. You can also add pages to the menu as needed from this little option over here. You can either do things like a custom link, or if you need to do posts. Custom links allow you to add an item, like here's NNDCD is a custom link. This is basically just adding a menu item that links to a website that is not your chapter website, in this case, the NNDCD. Also, the one more thing I wanted to show you all is we looked at the home page and a content page, and we were making edits, but the only one that we were not able to edit was the footer down here and the header up here. So how would we go about editing the header and the footer? Well, we can do that, and we can use the exact same thing, but and give me a second, let me let them know I'm in a training. Okay, so coming back here to edit the header or the footer, we edit it the same way. We just ask it from, or we access it from a different avenue. So on the dashboard, we come down here to Divi, and we go to Theme Builder. And here you're going to see Global Header and Global Footer right here. So if I wanted to change the footer, I just click the pencil icon, and that's going to load up the footer right here. We can see if we go back to the page, this is the footer, and it's just loaded by itself. And you can see that it's loaded with the Divi library, and it works exactly the same. These are just small text editors that you can come in. You can edit as needed. 2101 Mountain Road if you needed to update, and we change this as needed. So that's how you. Yes. Hey, Sylvia. Oh, there is? No, I didn't see it. Let me see. Grab me corners. Okay. So you can edit the size of the image. I can show you that. And thank you for the question. That's a really good one. But you aren't able to do it like you would kind of in a traditional editor. But I can show you a couple ways of doing it. So let's take, a good example is this image right here of the seal. So I'm going to come down here. This is an image module. Well, let's just do a straight image module real quick. I'm going to delete this one. So let's say I'm just going to add an image and then reduce its size. So let's find, this is a pretty big image, I think. Or no, that one's actually too small. Let's let's just use this one. Let's just say we added the seal, and it's too big for us. We need to shrink this down a little bit. One way we can do that, there's kind of two ways. So when we click on the image, you have this option in the media library. You can edit the image right here. If you click on that, that'll take you to a little kind of text or image editor right here, and you can change the scale, where you can change it to, if it's 512 by 512, we can change it to 400 by 400, and we can just hit update. And what that does is it gives us creates a new image for us, and we can grab the URL for that image. I'm going to come in back to this page, and instead of selecting that image because we cropped it, so we cropped it and it gave us a new URL, I'm going to insert from URL, paste it right there, and you'll see now that, oh, where did it go? Oops. Oh, it's right there. It's giving a little error. I might have to, well, in just about this edit image, this is a brand new function that just came out with the latest WordPress update, so it's not totally reliable. I think after a couple more updates it's going to be a little bit better, but it is there. If you want to try kind of this edit image option, you can always go into the edit image. You can try some different ratios. You can rotate it left and right. You can try and scale it, but the way I usually do it is, and there's still 2 more ways to do it. So I wouldn't recommend actually using the edit image right now because it's such a new feature. It's a little buggy, I think. But you could always do resize the image before you upload it, so you could size it correctly. Or there is, if you go over to design and you come over here to sizing, this is one of the areas where you can change the size of, you're changing not the size of the image, but you're changing the size of the module, and then the image it will render the image accordingly. So you can see here, here's the width, and you can kind of play with this until it's the right size that you like. And this is I like to keep this in percent. You can keep it in like pixels too, but I like to keep it right there like at 20%. And that's perfect for me. I'd say, okay, that is the perfect image or the perfect size. Hit check mark. I might, but here's also module alignment. I might select in the middle, and then there it is. It's cropped and sized. We can even, we'll try another one. So let's add an image module. I'm going to add, let's do this flower one again. So say that's a nice image, but I want it, probably about half the size. So if I come over to design and I go to sizing, width, I'm just going to take it down to 50%. So 50%, so now that's just about half of the original size. Maybe I want it even just a little bit smaller, something like that. I'm going to hit OK, and I actually want this one centered too, so I might just hit center right there. So that is, in my estimation, that is the best way to make sizing edits to images, is to go into the image, go design, sizing. So that is an instance where you can come over here to the design tab, and you'll see that they are there are some useful things as you get a little more comfortable with the different the modules and content. Coming over to the design, you can do things like, if I wanted to give it a box shadow, we can add something like this. We can even increase the, give it a little shadow on the background. You can do a lot of cool things with the design. We can do the same with this just to give it some depth. Background, or oops, box shadow. This is always my go-to, that one like that, but we could even do something like that. You can even give it like a border if you wanted to, do something like that. You can do a lot with the design, but it's all more aesthetic, but it does have to do with the sizing as well, is in that design tab. So does that answer? Oh, the other one, the way you can do it is, there's a cool program. It's just a web tool called Photopea, and if you open this up, I use this for resizing images a lot, when I need to actually resize the image, because some instances you can just pull in an image, like say, where's a good image? Here's an image of some superheroes. I can edit this image by just going to image size, and I'm going to switch that to percent. I'm just going to make it like 50%. Hit OK, and then I would download this image and I would just re-upload it into the library. So that is a little bit more cumbersome. Sometimes you do have to do that, like if just to get it exactly perfect, but you can also always do the design sizing. So does that answer your question adequately? I'll okay, let me see this one. Okay, let me read these. Image. See. Are able to fill out forms online like the Google registration we did? Yes. So we do have the ability to make forms, and I saw there's another question in there too. I'll definitely get to that. So one of the modules that we have is a form module. So if we go to this site, what did I have it open? I guess here we are. So another one, if I added another row here, if you add form, here's this is a very simple form module. It's not too robust, but you can create a form here, and I'm not going to go into too in depth into this, but it's again, you notice here it's kind of very similar to you're just adding in the fields. These are like the slider module. You can add a new one if you want to collect, this would be this could be phone number, and you have all your options in here, and it's a very kind of basic form builder. The other thing we can do is we can install Ninja Forms, which is a very big company online form builder, and we have a license that is available, and there's a free version too for all our clients. So what I'll probably do, I think that is the best way to build forms is through Ninja Forms, and I may need to just install it on all the chapter sites, but I can do that. And Ninja Forms works. I can send you some information on it. It might need its own little training, but we can follow up with that. But yes, the short answer is yes, absolutely. You have the tools to create some really awesome forms. I can show you even an example. Where did it go? So on this, back to this kind of training resources page I was doing. Again, we went over here's these tutorials. Then here's some more of the stuff that we went over, the basic types of modules, text, image module. Here's some more tutorials on all of these different module types. And then in addition, I have a form here, and I used Ninja Forms here. So I can if I go back to the dashboard on this one, you'll see on here I have a little Ninja Forms area. If I click on Ninja Forms on the dashboard, so I'll install this so you'll have Ninja Forms on your dashboard, and you can create custom forms within this tool. And all you have to do is just grab the Ninja Form ID and paste it on the page. And you do that just by, like if I enabled the Visual Builder on this one, you scroll down. Here is the form. Oops, that's the wrong one. It's just in what's called a code module, and you just paste the Ninja Form ID into, so if I delete it, you just go from the dashboard, you just grab the short code, and then you just paste it in, and it just auto-populates it that easy. So this one you do build on the dashboard through Ninja Forms. You build it kind of through here. Like here is the training questions form. I'll show you kind of what it looks like. It looks like this, and you can add new, if you want to do a checkbox list, multi-select, first name. It's got all the basics. Then you can go emails and actions. You can choose what email it goes to, some advanced options. And basically you just create a form, you publish it, and then once it's published, you just grab the shortcode and then you paste it in through that code module. So that's, I can send you some more information. I plan to do a whole form section on this page later on. But it is a really great tool, and the other cool thing about it is you can come here and you can view your submissions. You can, if you view, I don't think anyone's submitted anything yet, but you can view your submissions. You have some settings over here. You can export them as a CSV, and you can also set them up to forward you an email. So it's a really nice form editor, and that will be available to you. All right, and let me know if that fully answered your question, or if you have any follow-up. And then are you able to have a button where a person can submit their name and email address to be added to the chapter's email contact list? So yes, yeah, and so thank you for the question, Wanda, on that one. And for that, a button wouldn't be the best module to use. What I would do is, again, just use a Ninja form. You just create a very simple form. Like I could come in here and I would just do add new. I'm just going to do a blank form, and I'm going to add, okay, so I'm going to do first name, last name, email, and then I'm going to do a checkbox, and this will be, I'm going to click on this one, and this is going to be like, what do you want to sign up for? And this one could be, I'm going to do like the newsletter, or oops, it's probably over here. Or maybe I did the wrong one, hold on. I'll just add a multi-select. No. Let's just do a drop down. Come in here, and this will be newsletter. This could be updates, and this could be or maybe we just have two, something like that. Hit done, and now we have our drop down with newsletter, updates, and so this can be really basic, and you can customize it however you want. You can even click on them and say make this one require their email, and you can kind of just customize the form as you need. You do have to learn it a little bit, but I think it's a lot easier than the old form editor. And it's they have a lot more options, and it's easier to use. It just takes a little bit of getting used to, but it's not too bad. And then so say, this was my newsletter sign up. I would just hit publish. I'm going to ask for a form title. And I'm just going to say newsletter and update sign up. I'm going to hit publish. And I'm going to exit out of it. So here's the newsletter update sign up. Now I'm going to come over here. And let's say this was the page. I have the visual builder enabled. What I would do is first I'm going to add a text module, and the background isn't exactly what I want it to be, so I would go in here and I change the background to white, and then I might do make this, center this in the middle, and it says like, would you like to be part of our newsletter? If so, sign up below, something like that. I might change this to a heading like, heading 3 is a little too big, maybe heading 5, and then I would come in here and I would add a new and then I would just I would add a new module, the code module, and I would just grab the short code Ninja Form ID 2, and paste that in there, and it's in the wrong one. I would just grab it and move it down here. And there's a form, and I would do and I can help you with this, some styling and things, where I'd probably do, just so it wasn't so close up on the sides, and I can show you tutorials on kind of how to do those in the design tab. But I would just do, you know, something like this, and then I would just hit save, and on this one where it says newsletter sign up, if I go and I edit it, I can just choose in the emails and actions for the admin email. I just choose, you know, have it send to colton@rtsolutions.com, publish it, and it's that easy. And now anyone who submits this form it'll all get an email with all the information they submitted, as well as you can always go back and view the submissions on your website itself, and you can view all the submissions that have ever been done through that. Okay, any other questions? Okay, great. Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, Ninja Forms is really good. I think you'll really like it. It's really reliable and works really good, and easy but powerful. So, are there any other questions? We're coming up on 2 hours. So I know you guys are probably getting a little tired, but anything else you wanted to go over? Oh, good. Okay, let me see. Yeah, I can take a look at that one if we need to. Okay. So they're really big videos because they're like 2 hours long. So they take like I need to first I need to edit them, and then I need to like render them and upload them. So it'll probably be a couple of days, honestly, just because they're so big. But I plan to have them done by Monday. Would that be okay? Okay, good. Yeah, and once those are up, and I'm going to expand on this too, and just to highlight a little bit more, if I can find it. Oh yeah, this this page that I created for you all to reference. This is kind of really a good snapshot of everything we went over. We probably did a little more than what's here. I still want to continue to add to this down the line. The other thing that's on here down at the bottom, there's the basic types of modules. I did create a form that goes straight to me, and it's for post-training inquiries. So if you all do have a question on how to do something, of course you can reach out to me through my email, and I can provide you that information. Give us a call. But this is a form that I know I get it, and I'll know exactly, you know, oh, this is a training follow-up, and it's just a nice central location that if, you know, when you're looking at these resources and you have a question, you can shoot me a quick email via this form. So that's there. I'm going to expand on that. And the other thing I want to show you too is the online directory of Divi module tutorials. If you open this one up, so here are, I pulled the tutorials for kind of some of the most common modules: the text module, image, button, and blurb. But this is another kind of, Elegant Themes is the company that produces the the builder Divi. So this is their kind of help website as well, and it's really good. And it's always nice, because I have my trainings that I do it my way. But some people explain it differently, that is more effective. Some people, I may have left out a few things that other people, that these actual tutorials add. So they're more in depth, and they give you, and you can search them by module. So if you wanted to say, I want to look up the slider module, you can just search for it. And then here's the Divi slider module right here. You can view the full article. And it's, look, they got a video, a YouTube video tutorial that goes over all the ins and outs, the design tab. It really goes in deep. Plus, it has all these screenshots and great information about stuff. So this is what's great is this is a very ubiquitous setup in terms of WordPress is very. I think they say it's something like 50 to 60% of the internet is built on WordPress. So it's very well supported. It's going to have longevity. And then Divi is one of the most premium and powerful builders on the market. And it allows for a user-friendly content management, but gives us the ability as designers to create really beautiful websites and things as well down the road. So if please reference this. I can send this out to you. It's going to continue to grow based on, I appreciate the feedback, and I can see, everyone's asking about this, how to do this or that, and then that can help inform what sort of information I add onto the page as well. So yeah, that's all I have for right now. I think that's a great crash course. Of course, I know once you get in, you'll probably have questions, but I'm excited to work with everyone. I'm excited for you to get your feet wet with the new tools, and I think once you get comfortable with them, you're really gonna like it and realize that it's gonna make your lives a lot easier. And I think it's actually kind of fun to work with too. The old one could be a little frustrating. This one's fun, and so yeah, thank you so much everyone for taking the time. Did anyone have any parting or last minute questions or comments? Yeah, of course. It's my pleasure, and this will be there will be a transition period with anything new. There's always a couple hiccups here and there, and we'll work those out. I'm more than happy to help you with it. Anything you need. We're in this together, and yeah, thank you so much. Mm. Correct. Yeah, we're going to be doing more sessions, and also we have the forum, and these videos are all being recorded and will be posted eventually. So and it's a lot of information to take in. So we totally understand that it takes a couple times, and we're more than happy to answer any of your questions or go over anything again for you. And then could you? I just blanked on what is the chapter I need to check out that wasn't working quite right. Was it a shiprock or? Are you there? Sylvia, what was the chapter that I needed to look up? I just forgot. I'm sorry. Fort Defiance. That's right. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna look that up. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. I'll let you go.